Tell us a little bit about what you got planned for the 8th Annual Dog Days event.
Well, coming to Village Green Shopping Center on August 9, 10, and 11 will be, I won't say a repeat because it's going to be brand new, but another exciting year of the Dogs competition. And basically the beer permit allows people to sit back and enjoy all the activity going on. Right now we already have 8 sponsors signed up and 45 vendors already for August because everyone's looking forward to it.
How many vendors? How many vendors?
45 at this time.
Great. Any questions from the board? As you know very well, we take alcohol sales and sales to minors very seriously, and I know you've done a good job in the past, so thank you for your attention to that. Call that to a close. All in favor of approving this permit, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Thank you. You can stay right there. Approval of a second item is approval of a Class 6 special occasion beer permit for Farragut Business Alliance Harvest Fest, October 27th, 2024.
This is also similar to the events they had in the past, and they are requesting this for Sunday, October 27th from 2 to 6 p.m. And in case of event change dates, it's valid until December 31st, and they're also requesting a $100 application fee to be waived. The motion is to waive the $100 application fee and approve the special occasion beer permit for the Harvest Fest for October 27th, 2024, and valid through December 31st, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Great. Tell us a little bit about it, Steve.
This will be the 4th and the 3rd at the Village Green Shopping Center. Has live music from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock. And as the bands change over, we'll host our 3rd annual Halloween costume contest. Last year we had over 75 participants in that, and so it's becoming a great tradition for October. So we're looking forward to that.
Some great costumes last year, for sure. Anybody from the board have any questions?
None.
All right, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. That concludes the beer board.
It's just in time.
Slid in.
Okay, the time is approximately 6 p.m. and the May 23rd, 2024 Farragut Board Mayor and Aldermen will now begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board Mayor and Aldermen meeting. My name is Ron Williams, the 4th elected mayor, town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken the time from your busy schedules to attend tonight's meeting to see how our town government works. All Farragut Board Mayor and Aldermen meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. All board meetings are recorded and can be viewed at a later date. I ask everyone to please pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door. For the Farragut residents who would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door and write your name and agenda number that you wish to speak on. And there will also be time reserved at the end of the meeting for citizens' comments on non-agenda subjects, which will also require that you fill out a blue card with citizen comments as the time you wish to speak and turn it into our county recorder on my left. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the county recorder for the residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the board on any agenda item may do so for up to 3 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium microphone in order to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. These rules are designed to keep the meeting moving, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address your questions or your comments to the mayor in his absence. The vice mayor, if necessary, the mayor will call on an alderman or staff member concerning your questions or comments. Once you have given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that every speaker avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or inappropriate conduct. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy. We ask that you also stay on topic of the agenda item. We're here tonight to do the town's business. Okay, meeting call to order. We'll start tonight's meeting with a roll call by the town recorder for a quorum, prior to standing, if you can, for a silent prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag, which will be led tonight by Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Vice Mayor Povlin.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. Next will be approval of the agenda. Is there any agenda amendments?
No, sir.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. If in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show that May 23rd, 2024 agenda has been approved as posted. Next will be approval of minutes. Do we have any amendments to the minutes?
No, sir.
None?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. If in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show that the April 25th, 2024 minutes have been approved as posted. Next will be mayor's report, and we'll start with a Public Works Week proclamation. And this will be read by Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. For the National Public Works Week, whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, emergency management, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the town of Farragut, and whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of the town of Farragut Public Works Department, who are the federally mandated first responders, engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government who are responsible for maintaining, improving, and protecting our town's parks, public buildings, roads, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the town of Farragut to gain knowledge and maintain ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works first responders and public works programs in their communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the town of Farragut, Tennessee, do hereby designate May 19th through the 25th, 2024 National Public Works Week. And we urge all citizens to join in with the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our health, safety, and quality of life.
And we have a little video.
Oh, I like it.
spoke to everybody earlier in the week, but again, I just want to thank you all for each and every one of you all for everything that you do each and every day. I know we're on call 24 hours a day. You know, everybody steps up when it's their time and takes care of whatever needs to be done. And it's appreciated by us as a department. It's appreciated by the citizens here in Farragut. And so just continue doing what you do each and every day, and just to make this town stand out, you know, to the surrounding areas.
Yeah, I want to thank Junk Galaxy for sponsoring the rodeo today, and we were very fortunate to have full staff there and to be able to do what you just saw.
Yeah, and I'll just add just a special thanks to really Bud, but also his entire team. When you go throughout our community, this is a group of individuals that is behind the scenes, that doesn't get a lot of praise, doesn't get a lot of attention, but when you walk in our parks and you see nice mulch beds and you see well-kept trees, flowers, you see sidewalks that are edged very well, mowed on the regular, it's what makes our town stand out from any other town within hundreds and hundreds of miles from here. And they're off at a different facility, and we don't see them very often, but we got to celebrate them at lunch today, and so we're thankful to you, Bud, and to your whole team, and I hope they felt some love with the delicious lunch that was provided.
Okay, thanks. We'll move on to the Vice Mayor's report.
So Mayor Williams, Alderman Burnett, and I were honored to attend the graduation of the class of 2024 of Farragut High School this past Sunday night. It was a beautiful night. Since 2020, we have had the honor of having a seat on the field and witnessing this special event close up. Every year, we have a front row seat watching several seniors who have served as youth members on our boards and committees graduate. This year was a special one for Alderman Burnett as he got to hand his son his diploma. Before the graduation ceremony, we took a seat on stage with several other elected officials, as well as Farragut High School Principal Dr. Burnett and Knox County Schools Superintendent Ricewick. Among the elected officials were Senator Becky Massey, Representative Jason Zachary, Mayor Glenn Jacobs, 5th District County Commissioner John Schoonmaker, and 5th District School Board Representative Susan Horn. It occurred to me as I sat on the stage with these folks that so much of what we do as elected officials, our effectiveness to successfully advocate for our constituents in our community, requires trusting and respectful relationships with folks beyond the members of this board and our staff. Over the past 8 years, I have welcomed opportunities to attend Farragut school meetings, ribbon cuttings, workshops, chamber meetings, county commission meetings, Board of Education meetings, Tennessee Municipal League meetings. Well, you get the gist. There's been a lot of meetings. Through these meetings, I've been able to cultivate the relationships needed to advocate effectively for this community. Most of my constituents do not realize the time I put into all of this, the time we put into this, and that's fine. We just do the job to the best of our ability, as we all do. I just wanted to take the time to note that to effectively advocate for this community means one must be willing to build mutually respectful relationships beyond this community. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. That's very good. Okay. Next will be resolutions and ordinances. We have one resolution to review and consider tonight, as well as one ordinance. And
Yes,
we'll
sir.
start-
I'm sorry.
Hmm?
I was gonna jump into the memo here. So we have a couple of changes in the fee schedule. The synthetic turf tournament fee is increasing by $25 for half a day and $50 for the full day. McGill Plaza, the nonprofit 100 people or less, is increasing by $25. And the not-for-profit is increasing by $50. That's for half a day. And then for a full day, not-for-profit is additional $25, and for-profit is $50. So we also have added a new section this year for employee facility and recreation discounts, and those are also in your in the schedule. So the motion is to approve Resolution R 2024-07, the FY 2025 fee resolution.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any resident comments?
No, sir.
For this particular agenda item? None. We will start with board discussion with the Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
No questions.
Alderman White. I have none as well. Discussion closed. I'll ask the town recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hovland.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the resolution R 2024-06 has been approved by a unanimous roll call vote on May 23rd, 2024 at approximately 6:12 p.m. Next will be ordinance on the first reading, ordinance 2407, ordinance of the town of Farragut, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, ending June 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, with the budget, is really a key component of the town's strategic planning process and funds the priorities that we have had in order to meet that vision that we have as a community. That vision states that Farragut is setting the standard for quality of life with a beautiful, close-knit, connected, engaged community where individuals, families, and businesses thrive. Our vision gets accomplished by a team of professionals that we have working for the town and the volunteers that help us in so many ways. Their mission and values are to make Farragut an appealing and engaging community set apart by a proactive and dedicated team committed to integrity, adaptability, and friendly service. Our critical success factors, or what we sometimes call goals, guide our budgeting priorities and ensure that our resources are being utilized to reach these goals. These include connecting our community with excellent parks, greenways, trails, sidewalks, and recreational programs, enhancing the town's financial position, collaborating at a local, state, and federal level, supporting and caring for our team, and advancing a high-quality and well-maintained community. Our budget process starts in January with department directors developing a list of priorities that they have for the next fiscal year. These priorities get sent to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for you to reprioritize those things during our annual strategic planning process and retreat before we turn in our base budgets in February. The BMA has held a series of workshops over the past several months to help guide and direct staff and through this budget process to get us to the point of being ready to present to you our draft budget tonight on first reading. Where we start with our budget, though, is our revenues. How much do we have coming in, and what do we project for the upcoming fiscal year? We budget our revenue estimates conservatively, and then our expenditures in alignment with what we need to accomplish our goals. The goal at the end of the budget year is that we bring in more money than we anticipated, and we spend less than what we have budgeted. So for FY 2025, our revenues are projected to be $17,027,108, which is a 9.8% increase over the FY 24 budget. And since we do have quite a few different revenue items, I want to go over each of those in detail just to kind of give you an idea of how we came up with the $17 million estimate for FY 2025. Our first and our largest really revenue stream is our local sales tax. Every time someone purchases an item in the town of Farragut, there's a 9.25% tax that is on that item. And of that, the town of Farragut receives 2.25%, which half goes to Knox County Schools, and then the town receives the other half. So for FY 2025, we anticipate local sales tax of $10,101,798. That's around 9% over budgeted for FY 2024. We also anticipate retail sales next year to be coming in from the Biddle Farm and additional businesses that come in from the Dixie-Lee Junction area. So again, a conservative estimate, but one we think we'll be able to achieve and reach next fiscal year. Our next largest share of dollars that come into the town for revenue purposes are from the state of Tennessee. The state allocates funding from the state sales tax, beer tax, fuel tax. There's many other taxes, as you can see on the screen. But they give those taxes back to municipalities based on population. And so for next year, based on the town's population of 23,506, we estimate general fund revenues, and this is everything going to the general fund, to be $3,309,410. And to the State Street Aid Fund, there will be $822,710. We also have wholesale taxes. Wholesale taxes are additional tax that's paid by the consumer on the purchase of alcohol at our retail establishments. This has been a very stable revenue source for the town over the last several years, and we project revenues of $1,390,000 in FY 2025. Building permit and license revenue. This can be very unpredictable depending on what's going on in the economy and how much development is going on, specifically home starts, as well as the biggest variable being commercial development. You can see on the screen over the last 3 years, there have been some of the highest number of permits we've issued in the town's history. But we do budget conservatively. We want to make sure we're not overestimating when it comes to revenues coming from this source and what's going to happen in our community. So for next year, we have budgeted a conservative estimate of $580,650 in building license and permit revenue. Overall, the general fund revenue sources, local sales tax has always been historically the largest source of revenue for the town, and it continues to be at 59% of revenues. You've got state sales tax next at 17%, and then all the other taxes round out our revenue stream of a little over $17 million projected for FY 2025. So after we look at revenues, then we look at expenditures. What do we need to do to get the job done here at the town? The general fund's the main town operating account that we have. That's for all departments, all operations that we have. One change that we're making to the general fund this year is breaking out the finance function as a separate expenditure category from administration. And then we propose FY 25 general fund expenditures just at a little over $11 million, which is a 4.9% increase over the FY 24 budget. Our largest expense that we have comes from our people and our personnel. We are a service industry. Our budget reflects that, as 68% of our general fund cost is people and personnel to get the job done. The remaining 32% is operational cost to provide those services to the community. We also have some new positions we're proposing for next year. We have 3 net new positions and 1 reclassification this year. We have 2 public works technician positions to assist in maintaining the town. We have 1 IT technician position to assist with our IT functions. And we also have a reclassification of a position to assistant town administrator to help the town administrator with operational effectiveness across all departments. The total increase for all new personnel is approximately $289,708. And as we've talked about, our people are our most important asset here at the town, and we want to make sure that our wages stay competitive with the market around us and essential for recruitment and retention. So in FY 25, we're proposing a 3% cost of living adjustment and a 3% merit package for eligible employees. Our health insurance is also another large driver of cost for personnel. We're projecting a 4% cost increase next year for health insurance, but we are proposing to offset this cost somewhat with employee share of the cost of insurance at around 2%. So overall, the benefit enhancements are estimated to cost $335,240 in FY 25. Again, as you can see on your screen from the chart that we've got, the town has a history of bringing in more revenue than we spend on expenditures. And so a lot of times you may ask, well, what do we do with all that revenue that's coming in over our expenditures? Well, a lot of this has been able to go to general fund balance, which is basically our reserve funds or our savings account. We've been able to keep that at a healthy level over the last several years. Overall, we have an assigned fund balance of approximately $6 million. That includes monies to go toward roads, to our ADA funding and building maintenance. There's also a 30% reserve in there for our rainy day fund of approximately $3.3 million. And then our available fund balance is a total of $18.4 million. We also have revenue over expenditures this year of approximately $6 million, and then some transfers that we spend and take from general fund to go to other funds of approximately $7.425 million. And you can see the largest of those goes to our capital fund for big projects and our state street aid fund for resurfacing of our roads in our town. So we focused a lot on the general fund so far, and now I want to focus on the rest of our funds that we have. I'll go over these quickly so I can give you a summary. First is the State Street Aid Fund, and we use this fund mostly to repave our streets in the town. We receive revenues from the gas tax of approximately $842,000. We're getting a transfer in from the general fund of $1.5 million. with $1.765 million in expenditures. That'll leave us a fund balance of approximately $3.3 million at the end of FY 2025. Our tourism fund, this fund receives revenues of 3% of a occupancy tax that visitors pay when they stay in one of our local hotels. The tourism program promotes our town to outside visitors and guests to spend money at our local retailers and establishments. Overall, next year, we anticipate revenues of $612,500, expenditures of $594,000, and we would receive and have an ending fund balance of approximately $1.187 million in the tourism fund. We also have the American Rescue Plan Act Fund, which was established as part of the coronavirus relief funding back in 2020. This year, we have estimated revenues due to interest earnings of $100,000. Expenditures are related to the town hall renovation project, our stormwater improvements, and our fiber optic connections to all of our town facilities. All projects using this funding must be contracted for by December 31st, 2024. So we've got a deadline looming soon that we need to make sure we have contracts in place to spend those dollars. Our equipment replacement fund lays out a 10-year plan for replacement of our equipment and our vehicles in town. Again, for this next fiscal year, we have revenues of $20,000 and interest. We have transfers in of $725,000 from the general fund and expenditures of $375,000, which would give us an ending balance of approximately $1.3 million. Next up is our ADA Capital Projects Fund. This goes towards making ADA improvements at various town facilities across our town. We've actually been able to fund this in the last few fiscal years from other funds, mostly our CIP fund. We're making some improvements to Mayor Bob Leonard Park this next year, and all of our signalized intersections are getting ADA compliant as we speak. So we're transferring approximately $150,000 in next year's budget to give us a fund balance of $704,858. Next up is our insurance fund. This is where we fund all of our post-employment benefits, such as retiree health insurance. The town just annuitized our former pension plan this current fiscal year. So proposed expenditures next year are $82,000 with an ending fund balance of $239,376. Our last fund, and really is our second largest fund, is the capital investment fund. I'm going to take a little time to go through this and talk about some of the projects we have planned for next year. The CIP is a 6-year plan. It covers larger projects that are over $25,000, and it may take multiple years to complete some of those projects. Funding is approved for the FY25 fiscal year. But then future years are more planning years. We plan ahead. We make sure we have the money to do those projects when they arrive. For FY25, we have total project expenditures of $18.96 million. You can see most of those are coming in the form of engineering projects or road type projects. We also have revenues of transfers in and CIP reserves of approximately $9.5 million, and then grant funding of approximately $9.3 million. So overall, our available fund balance at the end of FY25 would be $6.8 million. And I do want to make sure I just cover some of the highlights of some of these projects that we're going to start in next year's budget, and just cover the FY25 projects. So first up, we've got projects dealing with greenways and government projects. First is a Kingston Pike pedestrian underpass at North Fork Turkey Creek. We have design planned for this coming fiscal year at $130,000, and then other projects related expenses would come in future fiscal years. We have Sonia Drive, Admiral Road sidewalk, phases 1 through 3. Again, construction of that is planned in next fiscal year at $1,250,000. We've got the Campbell Station Inn improvements. This would be the interior renovations to the Campbell Station Inn of approximately $750,000 in next fiscal year. We have a Public Works facility improvements, approximately $25,000 to perform a needs assessment for a future Public Works facility improvement there. We also have Town Facilities Security Plan. This is a multi-year project, the first of which would be in FY25 to look at Mayor Bob Leonard Park and Town Hall, approximately $128,000 toward that project next year. Next up, we have projects related to Parks and Recreation. The first is our turf replacement project at Mayor Bob Leonard Park for Fields 1 and 2. That would be a construction project to start July 1 at approximately $1.8 million. We also have the trail and ADA repair and repaving of the trail at Mayor Bob Leonard Park for $180,000. And then at McPhee Park, we have the next phase, which includes our parking lot and dog park and storage for approximately $465,000.
Dave, would you mind to go back now
Sure.
2 slides?
This one or one more back?
No, that's it. I'm just getting my bearings. What are the lines, the black lines?
The black lines, yes, the black lines are just an interior loop that we have, and then the red lines are the exterior loop.
No, look on Watt Road at the southeast corner. Looks like a field.
That's an old drawing that we've just continued to use. At one time, we were looking at
Right.
maybe changing that to a rectangular field, but that is not a project at this time.
Okay.
Okay, next up is one I know we've had a lot of discussion about the last few months, and that's creating a pickleball facility at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. We would be taking out one of our fields that we currently have, I think it's Field 5, and putting in a new pickleball facility at $1.45 million. And then we also have some, when you have a splash pad that's been around for about 10 years or so, you're going to have some repairs you need to make. So we have got $50,000 allocated for that in the next fiscal year. Finally, are our engineering projects. We have stormwater improvements of around $200,000 a year that we budget for, and when we get big enough projects to go repair pipes and replace those, then we use our funding that we've saved up in order to do those projects. We also have 3 projects related to Boyd Station Road. The first one is looking at a roundabout to where the Grove at Boyd Station comes out to Boyd Station Road, projected costs of around $760,000. We also have improvements to Boyd Station Road, which would be widening. That would be a co-share of that with not only the town, but also a developer that's doing the project currently. Total project costs of around $615,000. And then finally, we have a greenway extension leading to McPhee Road, and that would be approximately $292,000 for that. Next up, we have Union Road improvements. This is construction of Union Road. We have estimates for construction for next year's budget of $9.1 million. That's an 80-20 split, so the town's portion of that would be approximately $1.82 million. We have Virtue Road Phase 2 from Brookmere to Boyd Station. Right-of-way planned for next fiscal year, right-of-way acquisition of $925,000. And then Turkey Creek Road and Greenway improvements. The right-of-way acquisition would be planned for next year's budget at approximately $500,000. And then our final project that we have proposed for FY25 is Concord Road Loop Road Signal at approximately $700,000. So that is all that I have to present tonight for the budget. We would recommend approval of Ordinance 24-07 on first reading, adopting the annual budget of the town of Farragut beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay,
We have one speaker tonight. It's John Neal.
who?
John Neal.
John Neal. Hey, Mr. Neal, you want to step up to the microphone, please?
Yes, sir. I'm a lawyer in Knoxville. My address is 6657 Ridge Rock Lane. I represent 3 of the 6 affected households by the Turkey Creek Greenway extension, and I've been asked to express my client's opposition to the $500,000 provided for right-of-way acquisition. I represent Shirley Harkins, David Galbraith, and Howard and Bobby Tipton. But actually, I'm going to start with Ms. Harkins' next-door neighbor, Dustin Anderson, who was denied an opportunity, denied a building permit for a house on his property because the city told him, the town told him that the property hadn't been properly subdivided. And I don't see how you can acquire a right-of-way when you don't even know whether a gentleman or who owns the property that you're acquiring the right-of-way from. Mr. Galbraith has a particular serious problem with the city because in 2005, the town, as a part of approving the Sheffield subdivision, the town agreed that there would not be any sidewalk in front of Mr. Galber's house, and that provision was incorporated into the recorded plat of the Knox County Register's Office. Mr. Galbraith intends to file suit in order to obtain adjunctive relief to keep Farragut from building a sidewalk in front of his house. That would, of course, block the greenway. We think the town already has a right-of-way for the greenway, and there wouldn't be any opposition to it. There wouldn't be any property acquisition expense, and my clients think that's a much better approach. But for the moment, you've got a situation where the Planning Commission has tabled this proposal because of the legal issues, and I would just suggest to you all that until those legal issues have been resolved, there's no point and no benefit in allocating $500,000 towards acquisition of property that at the moment you can't acquire. Any questions? Did I stay under my 3 minutes?
You did well.
That's all of our speakers.
Okay. Then we will start with a resident comment. Okay, we've got the board discussion. Alderman Mayor.
You know, every year I love the budget process, and I think it's because I love numbers, and I love watching us fund all these different funds that we have in a way that we have the biggest amounts over the last 5 years. We have kept our expenditures down, and we bring in more revenue than we do spending. And so it makes me proud to be on this board. It makes me proud to be a resident of Farragut when I watch the fiscal conservative actions and attributes of our town.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Alderman Burnett.
Thanks, Mayor. I just had one maybe suggestion that I may have misremembered, but I thought we took the underpass at Kingston Pike and pushed it out. And took, but we've got design for this coming. Okay, yeah. So I would like to propose that we, at the very least, push it out a year or two. At which point, we'll see what's developed, what all the new shops in at Biddle Farm are, what the appetite is for, residents needing to cross, and whether that's feasible, doable, whether it's worthwhile. I just think spending money on it right now before things have developed is just a little too quick. So my proposal would be to push that out at least a year, if not two. That's really all I got right now.
I would agree with that. Also, the mixed-use town center vision plan will be coming to this board in July, I believe. And in that plan, there's a proposal, an idea of doing, instead of doing a tunnel, doing I forget what the signal is called, but it's a signalized for pedestrians to be able to cross, like a mid-block crosswalk there. So I would love to have more community input about their preference. Do you want to go above or do you want to go below? Who's going to use this? Are we seeing a need for it altogether? Right. So I agree, pushing it out is probably the best thing. Then we can have a discussion. Now that we have this other proposal, we can put those out there. And as the multifamily becomes occupied, we'll have a better understanding of how people are moving about and getting around. So I would agree with that. I also thought we took, when we discussed this, I know it's pushed out several years, but we took the McPhee Park Tennis Pavilion, all that off, out of it. We were just going to leave that space open and consider it for some kind of small field.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we had talked about. So.
I know we've had some discussions about it. I didn't know if for sure the board wanted to do that or not. So if you want to, then absolutely you can make that as an amended motion to change things around or take that off. Just up to the board how you'd like to do that.
I think what would be proper would be to ask each board member what their feelings are on that. And it sounds like we've heard from the vice mayor.
What's your thoughts?
For me, I'm fine. What's it in right now, 27?
Yeah, fiscal year 2027.
I mean, I'm fine with pushing it the full 5 out. Is 5 what we max at? Projection?
6 years.
6. I would be fine with putting it at 5 or 6. I don't think there's going to be a need for it even anytime soon, based on, you go out there now and the pickleball courts are packed, and me and my daughter just last night went and played tennis by ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's over there.
Yeah.
That could change with, that could change, but
Pickleball moving there might be more,
yeah,
interesting.
there are going to be
Yeah.
a lot of open courts.
Okay, Alderman White.
Is the question of me is to push the budget for under the highway passage and the money for acquiring property for that walkway. Is the motion going to be to push both of those out, or what's it
That'll
going,
be-
what are we actually talking?
We're talking about actually the money that was reserved to put more courts in there to McPhee Park is,
Right, so right now, currently, it's FY 2027. We had $535,000 allocated for future either tennis courts and restroom pavilion at McPhee Park. That was just a future year if you wanted to keep it in the budget. We can push that out farther, or we can take it off the budget, up to the board how you want to do that. So that's one item.
Oh, we got 2 other items. You got me thoroughly confused.
Yeah, sorry, there were 2 items. One was the underpass, the tunnel going under Kingston Pike at 35 North, to push that out until it further develops. And then the second one was, do we want to take the tennis courts planned in 2027 and push that further out? I said push it further out. The vice mayor was asking about removing it completely.
So we're ignoring the gentleman's request to push the budget number?
no, we've not got to look yet.
Oh,
We're going to get to it, okay?
okay, well, just wake me up when we get there.
Okay. So, you have no opinion?
Not yet,
I mean, on
until
that,
I know what
on
we're
those
doing.
2 items.
Okay. Tell them to me again. The 2 items we're talking about, the one under the underpass under the
underpass.
highway. And
Do you-
the other one is to push the money out for the pickleball court.
No,
No.
tennis courts, potentially more tennis courts that would be built at McPhee in that area that's been reserved for it in the front.
Push
Pushing
them,
that budget money number out.
push it out or take it off altogether.
Okay, I would agree with both of those, yes.
Okay.
To push them out?
Yes.
Okay.
Alderman Meyer.
I agree with pushing out the underpass. I think the courts need to come out completely because I think we have enough tennis courts.
Can I just throw one thing out there, Scott? Also remember that also includes the pavilion and restrooms. It's not just, I understand the tennis courts, but it also does include that, which, as that area continues to grow and we potentially add a field there, I mean, there's already a field there, but make the grass better, we'd have more people and possibly a restroom, just
I'm okay
thought.
with revising that number to not reflect the courts, but because the courts are in that number, I prefer to remove the number and start over. Because the number's 4 courts, the pavilion, and the restrooms, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to be revised then to take the courts out and keep the pavilion and then restrooms then. I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that, too.
Same here.
Yes, I would too.
Okay. We got a consensus.
So revise the number to take out the tennis courts, but leave the restrooms in there.
And pavilion.
And move it out to FY '29. That'd be 2 more years out. Is
If
that
we make that revision, I don't think
sufficient?
we need to move it out.
I don't think we need to move it out
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
fine
if we
at
just leave it there, okay.
2027 and
All right.
take a look at it
We'll
then.
take a look at that.
Yeah.
And that's restroom and pavilion.
That number may not be drastically different, frankly,
I know, by
based
that
on
point.
construction costs that
Yeah.
are going on right now and
Yeah.
future years. But we'll definitely take out the tennis court piece to it.
Okay, and then you've got that on the tunnel as well.
And so the underpass, I think what I'm hearing everyone say is right now it's planned for design this year, FY '25, and then construction '26. Do you want to push that out to design FY '27, which is 3 years out, and then construction FY '28? That at least puts a placeholder in there for a number that could be an underpass eventually, or it could be what Alderman Pavlin mentioned the signalized pass.
Why don't we
at
put it out
grade.
to fiscal year 2027, and construction in 2028? That
I'm good
way,
with
that gives us time, that's more immediate. We know by that point, we'll be able to understand what's going on.
I'm good with
By the time
that.
we start budgeting for fiscal year 27.
There consensus around that?
We'll probably know how many times.
We'll have to make some amendment in a second.
Yeah.
Across at the corner.
Okay.
Okay, we've got that one out of the way. Next one.
The only one, and I know that's, we'll talk about this, is I'm comfortable with, budgeting is not the same thing as allocating. So budgeting for this right-of-way for the Turkey Creek Greenway is not the same thing as allocating those funds. I know we have some issues, we have some design issues, we have some right-of-way issues, we have some other things that need to be dealt with. But the fact is, we will be eventually working with the Virtue Road improvements and Boyd Station improvements, and that will extend the ability to get from McPhee Road, McPhee Park, over, and if this would be the last missing piece, and the only reason it hasn't been done before is because it's a hard missing piece, but it would be the last missing piece to get from McPhee all the way over to the other side of Farragut, which has been our goal, is to be able to, because we can do that, once Union Road is built, we'll have that connection in the North Ward, and we've looked at it for the South Ward. I'm comfortable with leaving it in this year's budget.
Alderman Meyer.
I agree with the Vice Mayor.
Alderman Burnett.
Yeah, I would just say I'm comfortable leaving it in the budget. I was at the commission meeting and heard the, speed bumps or roadblocks, whatever you want to call them, that have come up, and I think we need to let it run its course at the commission level and see what happens when it comes to us, but for now, I'm comfortable leaving it in.
Well, I sit on the commission, so does the Vice Mayor, and we recognize that there's a lot of things that have to be done before anything along that line can be even engineered. So I think we had a basic one that our engineering department brought to us, and so it requires more than what we can really accomplish or fix tonight. And that's the one I was talking about, Alderman. So I believe that this board cannot fix that tonight, so there's a lot of issues that have to be addressed, and it's not something that can be done in the short term. So I think it should be a placeholder until the time comes that it can be resolved, if it can be resolved. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. And if Mr. Hale has a comment on that, he's more than welcome to jump in.
No comment.
No comment.
I think
Okay.
Alderman White wanted to speak to this issue.
Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah,
No, I didn't want to speak on it.
Oh, okay, I'm
I'm in
sorry.
agreement, it's fine.
yeah. Okay, next. No more from you?
That's all I had.
Okay. None from you?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move on then. We've closed the board discussion, and no amendments were brought forth, so I'll ask the town reporter for a roll call vote, please.
Well, we
Mayor,
did,
I'm sorry, there are amendments. So the amendments are what you just mentioned. It would be
Okay.
helpful if somebody could read those into the record, just so
Sorry,
we've got those
I'm sorry.
clear.
Did I make, who made the motion? Did you
I
make
made
the
the
motion?
motion.
Do you want
Meyer
to,
did.
do you want me
So
to
now I have
amend
to
the
remember all
motion?
the amendments we just did. So
There's just two.
So I'm going to amend the motion to include moving the pedestrian underpass, the design and the construction, the design going out to fiscal year 2027,
That's correct.
and then the actual construction going out to 2028. I also approve the amendment to reduce the dollar amount for the courts, tennis pavilion, and restrooms.
Well, remove the tennis courts from the,
Right, so we're gonna keep the number in there minus the courts. Right.
Yes.
And then we are going to keep the $500,000 in for the Turkey
So
Creek
that
Greenway.
stays the
So
same.
that's not a
We only had
change,
two.
so we're good.
Just two.
Yeah. I will say this, I'm not going to move to change anything right now, but I really think that we need to get in early and start talking to the Farragut Business Alliance about moving towards, back to the original vision. I mean, obviously, I'll be off the board by that point when but I think that it needs to be revived. We need to see some more energy focused on our Farragut businesses. We have a lot of new businesses coming in, and we're going to need some, they're going to need some help. So, but that's maybe for a future time.
Okay. Okay, so we have an amended,
In a sec, I'll second his
okay.
motion.
Is that good with you guys? Okay, great. Then you want to do a roll call vote, please?
Alderman Burnett,
Yes.
Alderman Meyer,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 2407 has been approved on the first reading with amendment by roll call vote on May 23rd, 2024, at approximately 6:48.
Mayor, can I just add one thing to that, if you don't mind, the budget? I just want to say thank you to all the staff. They've worked really hard on getting this budget put together. Our department heads have worked diligently. Allison has worked really hard in getting this budget put together. It's a feat every single year to do that. And so I really appreciate her efforts and all of our staff's efforts in getting us to this point.
Well, this year has been a lot more complicated than in the past because of all that we have going on in both ends of our town. And it's has been a great effort. I agree with that. So thank you.
And I know our budget will probably come out after I'm off the board, but you know
I'll
I'll
hand
want my-
deliver it to you.
You'll want my bound copy.
Okay, we're going to move on to the business items. We have 3 business items to review and consider for approval. We'll start off with approval of bids and awards for contract 2024-05, refacing of various streets.
Yes, Eric Schindler, Assistant Town Engineer. The purpose of this item is to consider bids and award a contract for the resurfacing of selected streets within the town. A critical success factor from this town's strategic plan is advancing a high-quality and well-maintained community. Each year, engineering staff examines our street network and determines our priorities within the limits of our annual resurfacing budget. This year's contract includes resurfacing of North Campbell Station Road from approximately 100 feet north of Kingston Pike to Old Colony Parkway, among a variety of other streets, for a total of 7.23 lane miles of roadway. We had 3 bidders, with the low bidder being APAC Atlantic at $1,140,171.18. The proposed motion is approval of bids and award of contract 2024-05 to APAC Atlantic Incorporated for their low bid of $1,140,171.18.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any rest of comments on
No,
this
sir.
one here? None. Discussion, I'll start off with Alderman Meyer,
None.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
I do have a question. It looks like we are resurfacing the Anchor Park basketball court.
Correct.
I was always under the impression that to do that, we would have to bring it into
ADA.
ADA compliance. Are we,
I'll have to look into that and get back to you.
I asked that last time, and I think I was told something to the effect of the level of updates we're doing didn't trigger the need for the ADA
okay,
upgrade.
is that, okay. Just, yeah, can you follow up
Yes,
with me? Because
absolutely.
I would hate for us to do something and then
Have to go back.
find out we
Yeah.
have to rip it out,
Yeah.
because that would stink. Thank you.
I agree.
Okay. So that's yours, Vice Mayor?
That was it.
Okay. Alderman White?
No discussion.
I have none as well. Discussion complete. I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show that the award contract 2024-05 has been approved as requested. Next will be approval of bids and award contract 2024-16, school zone signal improvements along Campbell Station Road.
Yes, the purpose of this agenda item is to consider bids and award contract 2024-16, school zone signal improvements. To better promote safety in the town of Farragut schools zones, a project was included in the fiscal year 2023 to 2024 CIP to upgrade the school zone flashers at each of the 4 school zones within Farragut. The improvements included updating all locations with new, higher reliability flashers and signs, as well as the addition of overhead flashing signals on Campbell Station Road for the southbound Campbell Station traffic passing through the Farragut primary school zone. The contract completion date is on or before January 1st, 2025. We received 2 bids on May the 7th. Progression Electric's bid was $138,917.60. Davis H. Elliott Construction Company bid $155,000. Progression Electric was the low bidder with a price of $138,917. Staff recommends awarding 2024-16 school zone signal improvements to Progression Electric LLC.
Move to approve. Second. Good luck with
We're in
that.
stereo.
In stereo.
Someone made a first.
Meyer and
someone
Poplin.
made a second.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Do we have any rest of comments?
No, sir.
None, okay. Board discussion, Alderman White.
No discussion, sir.
Alderman Meyer.
The only comment is I'd love to see this get started and completed before the school year begins, but that's just a wish. So, nothing else.
It's a good wish.
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor.
The only question I have is, I know in the past, I've heard from parents who park over at the library. They come out to get on the sidewalk, and it's that far parking lot. That's where they end up parking, and then they come up and walk on the sidewalk, and they're still not to the school zone yet, so it's very fast until they get to the school zone. Of course, sometimes people ignore that too. Have we considered, so I'm struggling to ask, have we considered moving it? One, can we move it?
I do believe that one is being moved south because of parents walking up.
Okay, but it's shown right now where it is. Are we considering moving it further south or beyond the sign, I'm sorry, that's
Library.
Heron, yeah. Beyond Heron, south of Heron, or we're keeping it north of Heron? Do we know? I'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah.
But the other concern is, in a couple of years, we're going to have a new new elementary school built, and we have no idea what they're going to zone all of this to, and I know they're going to reduce the capacity of the school because they're taking out all of the trailers. Is it worth moving?
Is what worth moving?
What?
Is what worth moving?
This one
Yeah.
is here, and it needs to be moved further down here for the parents that are parking in the parking lot.
Aren't they parking right there?
I think they're parking all the way down.
No,
Are
that's where they park.
Are they parking
Yeah, that's
here?
that's the library.
Okay.
So
they're parking
library,
there.
then Village Green, so that's why it was moved.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not parking all the way to the very south.
That would be here, the community center. That's the next parking lot besides the library.
Well, I meant the far end of the library
The
parking.
south end.
Oh,
yeah.
the south end of the.
Vice Mayor, the picture on the screen, it's really hard to see. I know it's in your packet, but it's actually moving that school signal flasher 700 feet to the south. So
Okay.
it is moving quite a bit further south
Okay.
to get people's attention to slow down sooner.
All right. Well, I'll leave it alone because I'm thinking that things are going to change in the next couple of years anyway. So I think moving it that further south is probably sufficient. So, thank you. Sorry for.
I don't think you're going to change the parents' way of parking. They're going to do that. They've always done that ever
Yeah.
since I can remember.
Yeah.
That's been ever since that school's been there.
Yeah.
So I really don't think they'll change that.
Well, I was just trying to figure out, are we capturing where they're coming in? Was their concern that And I think that moving it this far south is probably sufficient.
Okay. Where were we? Alderman Burnett?
No questions.
Okay. I have none as well. With discussion complete, I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the award of contract 2024-16 has been approved as requested. Next will be approval of the Great Farragut Sidewalk Sale, special event hosted by the Farragut Business Alliance, July 26th through July 28th, 2024.
Yes, sir. This is a townwide event sponsored by the Shop Farragut program. The intent is to promote town businesses during the Tennessee tax-free weekend. An outline of the application is included in your packets, and this will allow merchants to put merchandise outside, put up outdoor displays, and operate under relaxed temporary signage and outdoor display regulations. Applicants will be responsible for adhering to the town's temporary sign requirements. Should a participating shopping center wish to have one temporary sign for the event, then the applicant is proposing to waive any permit fees. Individual businesses that desire to have a temporary sign will be subject to the application fee, and the sign will be counted as one of their 4 temporary sign permits per year. In all cases, the temporary signs will be required to comply with the town's requirements for temporary signs related to the material, size, and placement. The recommendation, along with the event application included in the packet, are copies of the business registration forms, the signage guidelines, and the instructions and agreement forms, which establish the parameters for the event, mainly related to the safety and accessibility. The event will be monitored and supervised by the Shop Farragut program, and Steve Krimpowski is here if you have any questions. And the motion is to approve the Great Farragut Sidewalk Sale event.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Kropaski, I think you need to tell us about your event.
Well, as we move forward with the Farragut Business Alliance and try to push the Shop Farragut program, we're looking for ideas that give opportunities, another opportunity for our businesses, especially the retailers, to have a promotion. And brainstorming at one of our board meetings and looking forward with input from my board members, we've come up with an idea that I think can become an annual event and take advantage of several different ideas. Number one, take advantage of the tax-free weekend that the state has put together over the past few years. It's my understanding that although it's tax-free on the sale of sales tax at the state level, that Farragut does still benefit on sales of that weekend. Local municipalities will receive their portions, I believe. And also, it's at the end of July, which is a week before school starts, and take advantage of the back-to-school initiatives that many businesses do on their own. The idea is to go town-wide with an event that could rival the great flea market of what route is that?
Highway 27.
Highway 27. And make this something that Farragut's known for, but relax the rules that we normally have for our businesses to get outside of their stores and get us some additional signage and what have you. It's modeled after the Shop Farragut for the Holidays program, but it's only a 3-day event to coincide with the sales tax holiday. Pretty simple idea, just what I needed, some more work for myself and my board members, but I think it's an exciting one, and we've got a really fun logo and some other stuff to go along with that. So I'm glad to answer any questions.
Okay. We'll start with Alderman White.
I have none, Mayor.
Alderman Burnett.
I love it. Supports the businesses. People are out trying to spend money, even though it's basically 10% off. It still gets people out. So do it. I love it.
Okay. Alderman Meyer.
It's a great idea. Go forward.
Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
I don't either. I think it's a good idea. I hope that it does become an annual event, particularly for your all's group, because it really focuses on our town businesses. And that really needs to be what our focus is as a board. Okay, with discussion completed, all in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show that the Great Farragut sidewalk sale has been approved as requested. Steve, good luck with it. Okay, next will be citizens forum. At the end of our business meetings, we have reserved some time for citizens forum. Do we have anyone signed up tonight?
No, sir.
We do not. Then I will go ahead and cut to the chase and go to our town administrator's report.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
How about our town attorney?
No comments tonight.
No comment. Boy, that's unusual for two of them, no comment. Okay, the time is approximately 7:02 PM without objection. The May 2023, 2024 Farragut Board Mayor and Aldermen meeting is now adjourned.